All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Behind the Back podcast, post-game edition for the Philadelphia Eagles. My name is Marcos Conde Negron, and I'm coming to you off of a 55-23 victory in the NFC Championship. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl after beating the Washington Commanders in the most convincing way possible. How crazy the season has been with all the ups and downs, starting 2-2, going into the bye. Nick Sirianni yelling at the fans, AJ Brown reading books on the sideline, people freaking out. There's drama surrounding this team each and every week. And here we are taking care of business and making it to the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. Round 2 rematch. I'm excited. Guys, too much to break down from this game. I want to start off first and foremost with Jalen Hurts, the leader of this team, the bus driver, whatever you want to say about Jalen Hurts. He showed up today in the biggest spot and was arguably his best playoff game in terms of from a game that they've won, because obviously he's been talked about as having the best game of his life was probably the Super Bowl in which he lost. This game was better in terms of just the spot that you're in, the pressure you're under. Is he healthy? Talking about the knee, there were lingering concerns all week. You're doing this behind an O-line who was battered and bruised. You lost two of your starters in this game. And this was just an awesome response. You know, Jalen Hurts finishes 20 of 28, 246 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions, three touchdowns on the ground, and 110 rating. Like, that's exactly the response you were looking for. And 55 points, the most in NFC conference championship history. Like 7 touchdowns. The guys, like, it was 6 rushing touchdowns. Saquon and Jalen Hurts become the first pair of teammates to each have 3 touchdowns in a playoff game, 3 rushing touchdowns. And this was a masterclass from both sides of the ball. Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio were just out there dealing. Jalen Hurts was dealing. Saquon Barkley was dealing from the very first play. This is everything you could ask for what you wanted to see, for the dominating performance, for the momentum going into the Super Bowl. Now this team can finally be treated as seriously as a team that's left. Kansas City and Philadelphia, these are the 2 best teams. And that Kansas City Buffalo game was crazy. An epic game. Disappointing for Buffalo, of course, but for the Eagles, honestly, at the end of the day, this is a great matchup. I think to get another crack at Patrick Mahomes, and now they're competing for a three-peat. There's a lot of history on the line for this one. Saquon Barkley is about 40 yards away from breaking the all-time rushing record in terms of postseason and regular season combined, right after Terrell Davis, right behind Terrell Davis. And this is it. This is what we came here for, to win in the NFC title game, where people wouldn't have been surprised if they got shocked, if they got upset. They would have talked about how monumental of a disaster it was, but Jaden Daniels is that special player. And this defense just rattled the young man and, gave him a run for his money. He was forced to throw 48 times in this game. And that's the kind of game the Eagles want teams to play, is when you're forced to throw all the time, trying to pick us apart bit by bit. You're bound to make mistakes. And listen, Jaden Daniels, I can't put the blame on him. It wasn't entirely his fault. He had 29 48, 255 yards, a touchdown, and a late interception. And he scrambled for 48 yards. The defense did their job, as they've done all year. The number one defense that came in here and just flexed their muscles and showed, we are healthy, we're here, and we're coming after you. And nothing was easy for Washington. Zach Ertz had a huge game. He had 11 catches over 100 yards, but that was it. He was the only guy truly getting momentum. Scary Terry, 3 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. And it was a very nice touchdown. He had a touchdown early in the second quarter to make it, seem like there was still much of a chance. But I mean, at the end of the day, we were in complete control from start to finish. We just came out, we muscled up, we showed that we are the physical team. We have the experience. This is why we were built for this moment. And I want to talk about Saquon Barkley now, because I had texted Ben going into this after the Commanders only put up 3. I was like, okay, our defense had a long drive. One of 2 things is going to happen. Either, we need to keep the ball moving, possess the ball for a long time, or Saquon Barkley needs to rip a touchdown on his first play. It can't be either. And Saquon rips off a huge touchdown, 60 yards right out of the gate. This was his 7th 60-yard plus rushing touchdown this season. And throughout the Eagles, the Eagles had 7 60-yard rushing touchdowns from 2010 to 2023 combined. Saquon Barkley is just unbelievable, and his home run ability from the ground just adds such a dangerous element to this team. And I think we saw a little bit in that Chiefs game. The Buffalo Bills were successful when they ran the ball with James Cook. I'm I'm confident. I'm excited. Like this is a huge opportunity for the Eagles. So overall, this game was amazing. A.J. Brown finished with 6 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. Big game by him. Dallas Goedert, 7 catches, 85 yards. He was making big play after big play. And they even included him in the ground game. He had 13 yards. They were getting creative. I don't know if this was just the Eagles waiting for the biggest game to really just kind of pull out all the stops they have to get to the bowl. But, I mean, I don't care because it was such a well called game, both sides of the ball, and our special teams made special plays like forcing fumbles on the kickoffs. These guys were just making a statement from all facets of the game, and that's how great teams play. And we forced the Commanders to play our game, and that's exactly what we wanted. They had 9 penalties in this game. They were struggling at times. They couldn't cover AJ Brown. They were having trouble at the line of scrimmage. Like this was exactly the kind of game you were hoping for, and the Eagles were making big plays in high leverage spots. Jalen Hurts was hitting AJ Brown on a 4th and 5 on the go route like it was vintage. It was so nice to see that they still had that kind of play in their pocket. And I think, listen, people will come in the Super Bowl and be like, "Well, they had a good game, but look at how they've done all season." It doesn't matter. We've shown you that we can beat you with Jalen Hurts throwing the ball for 120 yards, and we can beat you when Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball for 246 yards because we still have all these other pieces around. And you might say, okay, Jalen Hurts doesn't deserve the biggest piece of, that pie of why this team is succeeding. But I disagree. I think Jalen's value is so much more important than what the stat sheet shows. And this dude is a winner. And he's the first QB in 19 years to go back to the Super Bowl after losing his first start in the Super Bowl. So he's also he's the only Eagles quarterback in franchise history to be starting in 2 Super Bowls. And like in his first 7 seasons, it's unbelievable. It's huge. Jalen Hurts is a winner. I back that man 100%. I'm grateful for how well this team played. This was literally as big of a statement game as you can make, with everything going your way. And this Eagles defense, the fact that I haven't talked about them yet, like, yeah, they were stifling, forced 4 turnovers. Like, this is exactly what you needed to do, and to show that this is sustainable. This is what we can get in the Super Bowl. Like if this version of Philly shows up in the Super Bowl, there's a very good chance we win. Like that, and Ben and I are going to definitely go through a preview over the next 2 weeks for the Chiefs Eagles matchup. But with all the hype surrounding the Commanders, and I got to give the Commanders credit, they had a wonderful season. Jaden Daniels had a one of a kind rookie season, arguably the best of all time from a quarterback. To make it as far as they did, surprising everybody. They were a 12-5 team. They're way ahead of schedule, and this is gonna be a heated battle for the next few years to see how these teams do and jostling for position. But overall, like as much as this Jaden Daniels hype going into this game, Jalen Hurts was the better quarterback, and it just shows that this team is capable of beating you however they want. They can pound the ball and just run it down your throat the entire game, and it won't matter. Um, I'm excited. Like I'm excited. This is to be in a spot where you can go to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. It's so hard. And again, given the historic collapse of last year, given all the coaching changes in terms of was Sirianni get fired, they bring in the OCs, and they go through all of this turbulence throughout the season. And Nick Sirianni deserves a ton of credit for steering the ship, for being the head coach. Like Sirianni, this is a masterclass. This is the best Eagles season in terms of most wins in the franchise history for a single season. Like he did that. He is the orchestrator behind all of it. And to have a coach who understands his roles and the players completely behind, like we can't doubt them anymore. So now it's a question of can they get it done in the biggest moment in the Super Bowl against Kansas City? There's so much 2017 vibes coming from this, And not from, the backup quarterback perspective or anything like that. Just in terms of this team, you could just tell is special. And we have a chance to go up against history, against a dynasty, against an all-time great. And to be able to, get our second crack at him. It worked pretty well the first time against Brady. So let's see what happens against Mahomes and this Chiefs team, who, we've proven that we can beat. Last year, obviously, both of these teams are a little bit different now than what they were last year. But for the Eagles, I think they got convincingly better than the Chiefs did. And the Chiefs are always going to be capable of putting up points. They're always going to be capable of winning in the biggest spots. They're never out of control. But I think this Eagles team is also one of these few teams in the NFL that can compete with the Chiefs in terms of they will not switch up their identity for this Chiefs team. And you saw the Buffalo Bills do that, right? You saw the Bills kind of pass the ball a lot and go away from it. You heard Romo on the broadcast was like, oh man, they need to give the ball to Cook more. There's not going to be a question of who's getting the ball in the Super Bowl. And the Eagles aren't going to stop going to Saquon. And the Eagles have the tools to win. Battered and bruised on the offensive line. We have Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, Mekhi Becton. And if that's what we have, we can win with that. It's going to be tough. Chris Jones is going to be a problem. And then again, we're gonna break down all these matchups, but you saw some of that game for Buffalo, and you're like, all these things that Buffalo are doing that are successful, the Eagles can do. So it's just the Eagles are offensively, they just have more star power around the quarterback than the Bills do. The Bills were asking Josh to carry. Jalen Hurts can do what he needs to do to get the job done, and he didn't turn the ball over again. The Eagles didn't turn the ball over again. That's how you win. You force turnovers and you don't turn the ball over. It was so simple. And the Eagles are plus 16 in the playoffs. Like in the turnover battle, we're just getting turnovers, forcing them. So this Eagles defense, just another magnificent performance. Zach Bond, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Darius Slay had a good game. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter blowing up plays. Jordan Davis getting a sack. Like everyone was eating. It was a perfect game. So what I'm excited for this Chiefs matchup is that this team is capable of doing it. This team is as strong as any other team in the NFL. This is the team that will provide the Chiefs with the biggest challenge on both sides of the ball. This is going to be a heavyweight fight, and anything's going to happen. But getting here, despite all the noise surrounding this team, we showed we were the best team in the NFC all along. We showed that, listen, the cards fell for us. Like the Lions, I know Lions fans are sick because they watch the Commanders and they're like, we should have been there. And that's just how it goes, missed opportunities. And the Eagles took advantage of their opportunity and they are back in the Super Bowl with a right to to fight their demons, to beat a team that they know they can beat. So I'm happy that, this result happened. The Commanders tried to come in here and play physical. They tried to get in our head. Marshawn Lattimore was trying to be aggressive, Frankie Louvu and them. But the Eagles team didn't back down. And this team knows what it's here for. And it seemed like the Commanders were the team of destiny. Nothing was going to be able to stop this historic run. And the Eagles, they ran into the buzzsaw. So the Chiefs on their way to the three-peat. This Eagles team might be built to stop that. So this is going to be an exciting opportunity. I'm so excited that I get to see my team in the Super Bowl again. And again, listen, there's a lot of heartbreak potentially in store. There's a lot of excitement in store. And we'll see what there is to lose and what there is to gain when I talk with Ben on the pod. But I'm overall yesterday was an exciting day. I'm recording Monday morning, but this is such an exciting day. Like that nothing can shake us now. This feels like it's a successful season, given all the drama that surrounds this team, and everyone thought, the Lions were destined to make it here, and the Eagles were always like, oh, again, I brought this up on the pod. It always just felt like the conversation around the Eagles were like, yeah, they're a great team. They can run the ball and defend, but Jalen Hurts is going to hold this team back. What do you want to make that argument? That's fine. I never believed that for a second. And you can allow yourself to believe that. But this team's kind of built for it. We're an all-around team, and we have the players who will not make mistakes and also execute in huge spots. So I'm just so excited to see what happens, what's in store these next few weeks, who gets healthy, who's hurt, who's all this stuff, the storylines coming out of this, the with the history on the line. This is going to be an incredible game, and I'm so proud of this team, and I'm so proud to be a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles and to enjoy this success because it's I'm not taking this for granted because I don't know how long this is going to be, how long this run can last. This is arguably the best Eagles team of my lifetime from top to bottom on this roster, and it's I I don't know what else to say about this team. That hasn't already been said. This is just a historic run of winning and success, and hopefully they can bring a Super Bowl home and make something of this era of Eagles football. So I'll put it off here. I'm excited to talk this week about some of the matchups we're excited for. We'll talk about this game a little bit more. I definitely want Ben's point of view from things to see what we're looking forward to against the Chiefs matchup. So I am Marcos Conan. This was the Behind the Back Pod postgame edition. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Let's go. We're excited. You can hit us up at behindthebackpod13@gmail.com. Hit us up on any of our social medias. The links to the descriptions are down below. Please give us a like, subscribe, rate, review, follow. We appreciate all the love and support. And now we can see what we can do for us Eagles fans out there, for the Eagles fans in this podcast. We're going to the Super Bowl. So we will see what happens. I'm excited, guys. We will talk to you during the week. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're going to the Super Bowl.